Alrighty, welcome everybody to the Pisces new moon for 2017-2018. So for those who are new to astrology, this is actually the tail end of our astrological year, and the energy runs from March to March. And so this particular time is quite auspicious, because even though the new moon is almost at the tail end of Pisces and moving into Aries in a couple of days, it's a really potent time to make the most of your what it is that you want to let go of, what is it that you would like to actually say goodbye to, but also recognize that by saying goodbye to it, you're also creating the space to vision what it is that you would like, so that when we kick over into Aries in a couple of days, the opportunity is to really take advantage of having created space and vision what we would like to have happen and kick it off, even if it's in the smallest, tiniest kind of actions, like being really clear with your intention. You know, you don't have to go out and suddenly tell the world everything you're going to do, because that's probably going to undermine and also probably overwhelm you in a strange kind of way, because you'll go, oh my God, there's all these things I want to do. And then you'll suddenly think, oh my God, how am I going to make that all happen? And that's really challenging. So what we want to do is have a look at this time and say, let's get clear, or let's start to see what really matters and get clear on what they are, and then really just identify them. And by identifying them, we can start the process of laying foundations over the next year to actually really bring about the changes that you would like to have happen. So without further ado, so far we have 2 people on the call, which is really lovely. And I've also had a request from Lenka in Ireland to have a card for her too. And if there was too many people, I was going to say, don't worry about it, because the cards will still matter. But there's only 2 people so far, so I think we'll have plenty of opportunity to draw a card for you as well, Lenka. So I'm just going to draw a card for the collective. So this is the big picture of what's going on for everybody. So no matter who's watching the video, you will find that this card will somehow relate to you. And the opportunity with this card is to see it, and sorry, it's got hair in my eyes, so it's all coming out now. This opportunity is, I just saw the card, I'm going to pull it up. I've already drawn it, it fell out of the deck. Okay, so this card is beautiful. It's called Beyond Illusion. And the reality is that we're letting go. And this, in terms of empowerment, where have we allowed ourselves to be completely wrapped up in illusion of what we call the reality of our world at this point in time, and lost track of the things that really matter by getting so caught up in the reality of the external world that we live in. So when I say external world, there's our inner world, and then there's the world that we physically have to function in, on a regular basis. And that can be very challenging, because it brings up a lot of stuff around, who am I? How do I function here? How do I make the best of this situation? So when we actually look in a little bit deeper with this particular card, the beauty of it is that we go into a place of recognizing that what we call reality is in actual fact an illusion, because we create our own reality. And so when we go beyond the illusion of what everyone else tells us is the truth, we have to sit with what is our truth and what is the collective truth. And if our truth is different to the collective truth, learning to stay strong and not let go of what that truth is for yourself, because it's easy to get swept up in collective truth, especially when other people are really persuasive, or you feel like you're really challenged by a lot of externals going on at the moment. And it's easy to want to say, well, if this is the way it is in the world, I have no choice. The reality is you do. Once you recognize where your choices are from your heart and from your own self and the truth of yourself, then the illusion of that external world kind of becomes a bit wobbly, and we work our way through it rather than butting up against it and smacking ourselves against the external. So that's a real interesting one for everybody. I think it's quite beautiful, and it's a gorgeous card as well. It's quite stunning, because as you can see with this card, I've got to have a quick look at it. There is this amazing white light that comes down from Creator straight down into the third eye. And that's where our inner truth and our inner voice and our inner vision enables us to know what's right for us. And it isn't necessarily the same for everybody. Okay, so something to bear in mind, all right? Okie dokie. So the next card is going to be for Charlie. And this one here is absolutely beautiful. This is called sharing. So the beautiful card about this, or the beautiful part about this card for Charlie is, where is it that you give too much of yourself? Because you have so much to offer, but what are you actually giving back to yourself? Because when we share with everybody else and we share with the external, we often lose sight of what is going to nurture and nourish ourselves. So it's beautiful to share with everybody. It's beautiful to be able to give so much, but how much are you giving to yourself as well? Because it's very easy to lose where the boundaries are and step outside yourself. And we all do it. I know that I am a corker for it. So it's, it's literally, it happens so easily, and I have to constantly bring myself back in. So Charlie, this is a message for you personally. Where are your boundaries around your sharing? How much are you ensuring that you nurture yourself as much as you're nurturing the rest of your world? Okay, something to be really, really conscious of over this next sort of 2 weeks. And, coming home and going, well, if I want to share as much as I do, what is it that's got to go so that I can share without draining myself? Now's a good time to have a good look at all of that for you. Okie dokie. The next card is for Jodie, and she'll probably rewatch the video, but she also does know this deck, so that's a great thing. Since, she's probably watching it anyway. Alrighty. Okay, this is beautiful. This is called trust. Yeah, absolutely. This is knowing that you're stepping off the precipice of the world as you know it, and literally flying out and giving yourself the opportunity to go and do things that you never thought that you were capable of doing if you look back 10 or 15 years ago. And here you are, absolutely flying it. It's just beautiful. So just making sure that when it comes to the empowerment aspect, are you really trusting yourself, or are you trusting the external? So make sure that you're always coming back into your inner core, your inner vision of what it is that you're working on and what you're doing, and knowing that your trust comes from that higher sense of yourself rather than the external validation from other people. Okay, this is quite important because it's very easy to slide out and, ask everybody else for validation. And the reality is that it's not about them, it's about you. Okay, so trusting that inner vision, trusting that validation from self and not from the external is really important. So, wow, you are flying, which we both know. So you're doing awesome work, my love. So, okay, so we're going to have one last card for Lenka. And if anybody else joins the call, then maybe they might get a card as well. But otherwise, it looks fairly perfect. It's a nice and simple call. Today for Lenka, your card is letting go. Okay, and in this card for you, Lenka, the thing about letting go is trusting, there's Jodie's card, trusting that when you're letting go, everything is following exactly where it needs to be. Because if you have a good look at this card, what you'll see is a little droplet falling off the lily pad, not so much the lily pad, but the leaf. And as it drops into the pond below, into the water, the ripple effect of letting go is going to be exponential. So when you let go, and you let go from that place of knowing that you're doing the right thing at the right time for yourself, the ripple effect for everybody else is going to be quite perfect. If we get caught up in whether or not the ripple effect is going to disrupt other people, therefore you hang on, then you're actually doing yourself and then, of course, everybody else a massive disservice. So it's really important to know that if you're going to let go, you're doing it for you and not because you're worried about or holding on. Don't hold on because you're worried about how it's going to affect everybody else, because it's not about them. It's important that you let go for you, and then what happens with everybody else is a natural byproduct of that flow and that shift, and so the ripple effect. And the ripple effect doesn't have to be a tsunami or a tidal wave. It can be the gentlest of shifts of just going, there's a change. Yes, it's perfect. So I think that's really important for you, Lenka, to remember that when you let go, it's not going to harm anybody else. It's not going to upset their world. It's actually going to be the most gentlest of adjustments and changes that's going to be for the highest for everybody else. It's going to work out to be the highest good for everyone. Okay? So there we go. We have 4 amazing cards today. And if we have a good look at the bigger picture of what's going on here, what we have is that when we are aware that we can go beyond illusion, when we have a good look at where we share our world, we've got to make sure that we don't lose our boundaries. This is really important. So then we come back into the next card, which is trusting. Absolutely trusting that we are solid in ourselves and we're not going to lose our boundaries, and that we're going to be able to do everything we need to do, because when we let go, it's going to work out perfectly, because we're working from the inner self, and we're working from recognizing that the world is an illusion on one level. And so when we get beyond that illusion and we come back into that inner wisdom that we have within ourselves, every time we let go of the old stuff, we go into a deep level of trust, recognize that we don't lose ourselves with everybody else, and then we come back in the center. So that was almost coming backwards, letting go, trusting, understanding where we are and where our boundaries are, and then we come back into source and center. So it's quite an amazing in and out process. Okay, so this time of Pisces new moon is absolutely perfect, because the new moon is about visioning. Pisces is about visioning, so trust the inner vision that you're getting. This is really, really key, because this is what we're being told to get. You know, when we go into this core card for everybody, then, you know, our ability to be able to see what matters for ourselves is going to have the most beautiful ripple effect around us. And that is the key to self-empowerment, because when you come into your core and you trust yourself, every time you step into that place, no matter what's going on to the people around you, the ripple effect from you outwards is quite profound. But it's not the kind of change that's going to wreck people's worlds. It's just going to be the most beautiful unfolding of change that is just going to work for everybody. All right, my sweets, thank you very much, everybody, for your beautiful contribution today. And I've got some lovely messages from everybody. Wonderful card, thank you from Charlie, and lots of gorgeous emojis from Jody. So, all right then, thank you very much, everybody. So the next reading is going to be in a couple of weeks' time, and it is going to be the full moon in Libra, because we've just had the Virgo full moon. So, and it's just something to remember that we're going to be moving into a time of looking at where our balance is. Haha, there's our boundaries again. Thank you very much, everybody. It's wonderful to have you on the call. And yeah, we'll see you next time.